Semen retention will help you attract better opportunities. Yes, I know a lot of you guys are on my channel or watching semen retention videos to see what not only are the difficulties, but you want to learn about the benefits too, the bright side of semen retention. You know, the reason why people actually do semen retention. So if you guys think semen retention is a fraud or flawed or whatever the case may be, not true, I think it is true. I wouldn't put retention on the pedestal. You still have to be disciplined in other areas of life for it to work. But yes, if you do it correctly, semen retention can change your life. You know, I'll give you guys want to see real life examples of how it changed my life, man. Currently, man, when I first started my semen retention journey, I was working a job I hated. I was working crappy hours. My YouTube channel wasn't doing the best. My clothing brand was pretty much dead. No one was trying to buy what I was producing. I wasn't really getting much women at all. It was a weird low point in my life. It really was. My skin wasn't clear. My skin still isn't clear, but like my skin is still clear, if that makes sense. Like, you know, I'm comfortable in my skin now. You can see that. But you know, back then, like, I don't know, it was crazy. I wasn't keeping up with myself. Like, I wasn't getting haircuts as much. I don't know, I was just losing myself, really. Once I started this journey, man, I just started attracting crazy opportunities. You know, I was able to travel the world. You know, I took 2 trips that year, Texas and Atlanta. Those are both on my vlog channel. I vlogged the whole thing. I picked up my first chain. I spent too much money on it. I spent thousands of dollars on it. I could have bought another car with how much I spent on it. This is all documented, all in the vlog. But not only that, man, I attracted a better job. I went from making, you know, $17 an hour slaving, you know, as a manager, which, you know, 17 is probably more or just about as much as a lot of people make nowadays. I know times are tough to even get a job, but, you know, I feel like I was doing more work than what I was compensated for. And I was just in a weird work environment where people just gossiped, and there wasn't much loyalty there. Things like, I just hated working there. And man, I just stayed down and stayed patient. I started applying for other jobs, and boom, I found a job with not only better work hours, I had weekends off, and I went from $17 an hour to $24, literally within like a few months of my semen retention journey. So that opened up doors for me to not only be able to save more money, but you know, I had more time to focus on my YouTube channel. And not only did, you know, semen retention allow me to, or help me out to get, you know, a new job, but just the connections I've made too. You know, my favorite rapper, Lil Sheik, he's a rapper from California. He used to be in the rap group SOB RBE, if you guys heard of them back in the day, like 10 years ago. Long story short, man, his manager follows me. You know, he's tapped in. Like, he doesn't just follow me, like, you know, he shows love. He likes my pictures and stuff. You know, so that's a business connection right there. I'm trying to set up a vlog with Lil Sheik, and shout out to Raimi, that's his manager. They're going crazy in California. You know, he's got his own record label. He's got like 2 or 3 nice studio locations, all sorts of stuff. And you know, I've made connections, like I've said too, with, you know, YouTubers with 200,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, who live in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, shout out to 99 Nation. You know, I'm cool with Elias ATL. He's going crazy, and that's another connection. Like, I literally have his number. Me and him will hop on the phone, talk about life, talk about YouTube, talk about my clothing brand. He's modeled my clothing brand. You know, that's on my Instagram, Legendary Rich, or my clothing brand, Real Legendary Status. So that's another connection. And I didn't have none of these connections before I started semen retention. One thing that attracted these opportunities was that when you're on semen retention, you see the sunlight hitting me now that I'm talking about semen retention, man. It's just perfect, right? But nah, semen retention, it just opens up your mind to think more positive, to believe in yourself more. Like, you're gonna attract everything you need to attract in life, obviously when you're making the right decisions, but really you just have to become that person. You know, it sounds simple, but it's not easy. It's easier said than done, but it's really simple if you think about it. Because semen retention, it just makes you more positive. It makes you more, you know, just like when you were a kid, everyone told you when you're in kindergarten, you can do anything you want in life. The world is yours. You can be an NBA player if you want. And while some of that, you know, might have been capped, but you can really still do anything you want in the world. And you wonder why they stop telling you that more and more as you get older, is because they're like, oh shoot, they're actually at the age where they can, you know, they're aware of their personality and their ego now, and they can actually make real life choices and actually be a threat to the society we have going on, which I can't talk about too much on here. Like I said, that's for the Patreon. But yeah, man, semen retention, everything's just gonna flow more. You're gonna be in the perfect place at the perfect time. I forget about this because this is like so much stuff has happened since I started semen retention. This was like when I was mildly doing semen retention. I was still releasing every week, but I would go 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days, then release. I met the rapper Jacquees, you know what I'm saying, at a bowling alley on a random like Tuesday or Wednesday night. I don't live in a big city. He just happened to be doing a show in my city at the college. And, you know, I walked up to him. I was like, what's up, bro? You know, like, I like your music, you know, like what you doing down here. Me and him were chopping it up. Like, I'm like, you got a show down here? He's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, bro, like, you know, can I get a picture with you? Me and him took a picture. Like, all this is on my YouTube channel. Me and him took a picture. I was like, I appreciate you, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's real. I got a clothing brand too. I vlog, I do YouTube and all that. I'm not asking for a handout, but I just letting them know, like, you know, like, I'll see you at the top, man. I'm still coming up. And he's like, oh, like, you got any clothes on you? And I was like, and I actually didn't in my car. I was like, yeah, I got some in the car. And he's like, all right, bet. Luckily, I lived like 5 minutes away, so I drove to my apartment, picked up some merchandise. I have the video footage of this too, if you guys don't believe me. And then, you know, I was like, is it cool if I get you like a video like holding my merch? Like, if you like it though, if you actually like it. He's like, yeah, I actually fuck with it, bro. Like, keep going. Then he did a little video. He's like, bro, got me in the team, right? I gave all in his gang and the security, the clothes, you know what I'm saying? So it was a real moment for sure. His manager followed me too that night, but him and his manager got into it and got to beefing like a year later, and his manager ended up unfollowing me. But, you know, it was just a cool moment, you know, like certain things like I was saying, I wasn't even supposed to be at that bowling alley that night. It was my coworker's birthday or something like that. It was like a Tuesday night. I really didn't feel like going that whole day at work. Everybody was like, you going? Are you going? And I was like, I don't know, like probably not, I'll let you know. And I don't know, I just felt it in my intuition. I felt it in my spirit. And your intuition is really God, like that gut feeling that, should I do this, yes or no? And you really know the answer in the back of your head. Trust that gut feeling. It's usually right. I was like, you know what? I just had a feeling. I'm like, you know what? Let me go. I'm not doing nothing else. Let me just go through real quick. A little 30 minutes, an hour. Literally 5 minutes after I get there, I run into bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. And, you know, semen retention also gives you more confidence. You know, before my semen retention journey, I probably wouldn't have had the courage. Like I said, I was by myself at the bowling alley. I was one of the first people there from my job. I was sitting by myself at the bar, getting a little drink. And I saw him walking around. I'm like, dang, he looks like Jacquees. And I'm like, oh, that's Jacquees. Like, let me go say what's up to him. You know, a lot of people don't have the courage or the confidence to do stuff, especially by themselves. So, you know, when you're on semen retention, just grind. I'm telling you, everything else is gonna come. I promise you. Like, you're gonna attract everything you need on the road to not only success, but just your road to purpose, your road to self-fulfillment, your road to pleasing God, really, because God is the one pulling the strings and everything behind the scenes. No matter what God you believe in, God is really the one making it happen. So God is gonna reward you. You know, it's like God is like at the top of the penthouse, and He's just watching all of us on the floor, all of us on the streets doing what we do. You know, like, it's crazy, man. But yeah, semen retention, you're gonna attract everything: women, money, resources, opportunity, clout. Like, it's just gonna be random people following you on Instagram, random people in real life. Like, I'll go to the bar and literally just a random, KO the Alchemist can attest to this. We're just at the bar, just real quick with some girls. This random dude, like, he kind of cut me in line to get a drink, and then he ended up buying me a drink. He's like, here you go, bro. Like, I just had a feeling to buy you a drink. Like, I swear, I'm not making none of this up. And all these videos are real life examples, real life experiences, man. I wish I could make this video a little longer, but I do gotta clock into my job. You guys wonder why I'm always wearing the same clothes, because I work where we gotta wear red. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, comment down what day of semen retention you're on. Comment down any topics you guys want to know, any story times. And yeah, man, let's keep going. Road to 100K. Y'all be safe. Keep chasing your dreams. And yeah, we out. Yeah.